Hello everyone, thank you for joining Ranger 4's webcast, Getting Certified in Agile Service Management. Here to facilitate the discussion this afternoon is Ranger 4's Chief of DevOps Transformation and Coaching, Daniel Breston. As mentioned earlier, please write any questions you may have in the chat box or use the question function in your GoToWebinar control panel, and they'll be answered at the end. I will now pass it over to Daniel.
Thank you, Priyanka. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ranger 4's Certified Agile Service Management Mastery, How to Get Certified in Agile Service Management. As Priyanka mentioned, I am the Agile Lean IT Service Management enthusiast in Ranger 4. Along with others, we help people look at what can they do better in terms of DevOps and Agile Service Management. I've been in IT for many years. In most of my life, this has been my job description. People have asked me year on year to do something for less, with less resources, to do things faster, reduce the time that we fix things, reduce the time that we provide things, continue to keep IT up as close to 100% as possible, be ready to do whatever the business wants us to do so that they can be competitive and compliant, bring the business ideas so that they can create more money and value based on the latest and greatest technologies like social media or cloud, continue to train staff, talk to the customer, do all the normal management reports, and oh, by the way, take care of all of our service providers and more. And I'm hoping that this looks familiar to the people that are on the webinar, but to me this was everything that was encompassed in being an IT service manager, an IT operations or applications or data center manager, development manager, PMO across the globe. And this was our dream. As Jez Miller very nicely said in the DevOps report, we need to be able to find a way to do things better, faster, safer. We need to start to do things in an automated fashion. We need to start to integrate that development through realization of an idea or fix and make sure that it's right before it gets to production so that we can drive issues to zero and really provide our customers and our internal users great value. And we relied on frameworks. The two best known frameworks, ITIL and COBIT, were the basis of our life for the last 28 years maybe. This is where we learned things, this is where we adopted and adapted how to create a strategy, how to design a service, how to make that service go live and release it out, how to operate that service on a daily basis and manage the service level agreements or take care of vendors, and over time how to improve that service. So all of this became what we needed to do. The only problem is that as we continued to do this over time and over the last 28 years, other parts of the IT community and the business itself started to go faster than, or the perception was that other parts of the community started to go faster than what we were doing in the IT service management and IT operations space. They'd heard this phrase called Agile. They'd heard about other frameworks that allowed them to do better, faster, safer, and were beginning to try them, such as DevOps. And so Agile Service Management is a response to that. Agile Service Management is something that takes Agile, those core values and principles that were defined in the Agile Manifesto, those very important things that were discussed back in 2000, 2001, and has now become a worldwide movement for how to begin to do better, faster, safer, in such a way that you can bring to life all these different frameworks into a common methodology and allow people to see how if they have certain values, if they treat individuals and interactions before or as they're looking at processes and tools, if they create and start looking at every single day the development of a working software, a working process, a working product, a working feature, a working fix, over comprehensive documentation that no one is going to use or is too difficult to maintain. If you continue to have customer, internal or external collaboration, and inside an organization, everyone is a customer of technology today. You don't believe it? Turn it off. Think what happens if you turned your IT off. How long would it take before people started calling your service desk? How long would it be before people started asking, hey, we're about to go out of business. We need to have our IT back up. Hey, I can't do my job. We need to get our IT back up. So everyone inside an organization is a customer. And what are we doing to make sure that those customers are actually treated to the best technology possible? And that doesn't mean having an SLA that only gets looked at once a year and has no OLAs or contracts that are associated with it to make that happen. But this is a daily, iterative type of working environment that's fast to respond to change. Yes, we'll follow a plan, but we're willing to look at that plan in such a way that the plan has enough information in it and enough governance in it to make sure that what we do enables better, faster, safer. There is a perception that IT service management values the things on the right over the things on the left. I think we value exactly the same things that Agile does. We value individuals and working products and features and really customer value and collaboration, and that ability, agility, and capability to respond to change. So Agile Service Management said, well, let's take ITIL, let's take COVID. Let's see what it would look like if we went and added Agile to it. What would happen if we looked at incident management, which has just 6 steps? How lean is that? What would happen if we improved the incident management process, borrowing from Scrum, let's say, a visual way of trying to, or Kanban, a visual way of trying to see who's supposed to do what when. If you're going to go and create a process, if you're going to go and design that process and roll it out, how do you do that in such a way that it makes sense to the organization, provides enough governance, gives you enough flexibility and measures so that you can see whether or not it's going good or bad every single day? Helps you answer the question good. When is good service management occurring? When is great service management occurring? Most people say all of our services are up, all of our servers are up. What would you say, though, if you go back to the fact that this is a customer-focused framework, customer-focused methodology, and instead you answer that question of good and great from a customer's point of view? Because all of our services are up, because all of our infrastructure is up or our cloud is up, the business was able today to do 100,000 transactions that made 1 to 2 million pounds. Because all of our infrastructure was up and our services were up, and we added this new feature, the business was able to overcome a compliance issue or to resolve a problem that made it more competitive. That fulfillment of that statement that really provides value is what we're doing when we get to Agile Service Management. It meets those customer requirements. It improves that collaboration from the development of an idea until that idea is operational. It helps overcome those constraints in process workflows. We don't get stuck in long, big, comprehensive documentation or a wall of flowchart that has 4 or 5 different tiers in it. We just start to work in such a way that people know what they're doing, because people are actually involved in helping to create those processes. We're not creating processes in isolation. We don't have a process engineering team that's working alone. We have a process improvement team that's working together on a particular process to make it better, faster, safer. And working in an agile way, we're changing something, we're improving something, we're agreeing what that should be, and we're doing that in very short iterative cycles. And that helps us streamline what we're doing, and it gets the definition of done out the door and out to the business and out to all the people that can take value from it. This would be an example of a way of working in Agile, in service management. Why couldn't you have a process backlog? These are the things that we need to consider when we create a process. We would write user stories. We would break those user stories down into something that's meaningful. It has acceptance criteria. Imagine the impact of not having to wait for non-functional requirements, but to have that right at the beginning along with your functional requirements. So all of your acceptance criteria is written on the user story. You agree what that's going to be as a team, and you start working with that. The process owner, the team, the Agile Service Manager, which in the case of Scrum, the Agile Service Manager is just like a Scrum Master. A process owner is just like a product owner. I mean, that's what they have. Processes have products. Agile Service Managers are helping people to understand how to do better, faster, safer, and making sure that the increment of work is occurring as it's supposed to for that minimum viable step, that minimum viable process, for that increment of time, that iteration of time that can be reviewed. And at the end of it, we all get together again, just like we did on a daily basis, but now longer, to go, hey, that was fun. What do we have to do the next time we do this? How can we continue to do this across the organization? How can we move IT service management and lose the IT and just make it service management? Move our practices, move our beliefs out into the business. So now you're not just creating an incident management process or a change management process. You're creating a process that allows the business to do something. Onboarding of new employees. Setting up arrangements with your customers to be able to help them do requirements and tasks. Looking at the way to streamline the business case approval process. All sorts of ways that technology can be applied to all the different processes within an organization. This is what Agile Service Management allows you to get to. And that Agile Service Manager, that equivalent to a Scrum Master, and we've worked with the Scrum Alliance and we worked with the Agile community to go and create this course. All of these slides that you're seeing are from the DevOps Institute, which Ranger 4 is part of. We'll mention that in just a little bit later in more detail. But all of these activities are going to enable people to do what they need to do in a different way. And because they have a common vocabulary, because they have metrics that matter, people are learning, people are reacting, and these new processes are going live that really are adding value and are being followed. So this is an example of a process that I'm sure many people on the phone have seen before. It's the very complicated change management process that we've come to know, love, or hate over the last 25 years or so. What about that way? What about if you had an agile way of doing it? Let's look at this process and simplify it. Let's look at this process and try to make it better. Let's look at just the request and record process. What do we really need? How do we approve that? How do we then release that increment, that thing that's done, out into the organization? Now let's go back and look at the assess and approve part of change management. And once we're satisfied that we have an understanding of that, let's play with some of the screens, let's play with a little bit of the documentation, and let's release that out into the organization. And the same with implementing a change. What do we have to do there? Do we really need a change approval board or a change advisory board meeting? Is there a way to go and automate a lot of this so that we don't take up people's times? I mean, we work with a customer that doesn't have cabs, and yet they're doing things because they've adopted Agile in such a manner that these cabs don't reduce governance, they enhance the governance that the company has. And it's a big, major organization. And that allows them to go back and review and close that change on a timely basis, link it to incidents that occur, link it to things that must have to be done the next time around. That gets added back to the backlog again, and the cycle begins. So this cycle doesn't end. This cycle continues as they continually modify and improve the process of change management, change lifecycle. This idea to integration, to validation, to operations, to realization. Well, I have an idea, I have a fix, I have a product, I have something that I want to do. How do I get people involved in such a way that they validate that idea and help me design it? How do I get that idea up and running, operational? And how do I release that idea to the right people at the right time in such a way that they realize the value of that? This whole life cycle can have technology applied against it. This is what Agile Service Management is trying to achieve. So where do you learn more? Well, my director, Helen Beal, lady in the green box, is on the board of the DevOps Institute. DevOps Institute is created by people in the Lean community, the IT service management community, the Agile community, works closely with some big names. Some of you might recognize Gene Kim there, to try to create course material, training material that is of value to all the practitioners in the technology space. And this material, such as the DevOps Foundation course, the Certified Agile Service Management course, the Certified Agile Process Owner course, which is brand new, we'll mention that again in a moment, and other courses that will be released throughout its lifetime, are things that we contribute to on a quite active basis. The Certified Agile Service Management Foundation course, the base course, and there will be higher level courses that are added to this, is a 2-day course. So it can be longer if you like to bring your own material into the course and it's just for your organization. It can be on-site, or you can join one of our public courses. It can be from 4 to 20 students inside of a class. It's a lot of fun. It's not just a bunch of slides. There are a lot of exercises. And yes, of course, there is or here's the agenda. So day one, what are we doing? Going through Agile, what is Agile Service Management? Breaking down process design basics, rolling in more specific information about Agile and Scrum, and then helping you prepare for that exam. The exam allows you to be certified. Its certification body is PeopleCert, so we work very closely with them. It's 40 multiple choice questions. It's an hour long, and if you don't defer your success, you become known as a Certified Agile Service Manager. You will be and will have the same designation in the marketplace as a certified Scrum Master. You do learn a lot about Agile and Scrum in this course, along with applying it to the different aspects of IT service management. I've been in IT service management for years. There was a lot of new information that was provided as we started to create this course to make sure that it was of value to the people that were going to be candidates and participating. Excuse me. You can learn all about registering from our website. As Priyanka said, we will be sending out links, so she will provide a link to the course, and you can have a look there, see when the next courses are, and register. If you have more questions, you can also ask questions to us, and we're more than happy to answer those. And if you have an Agile Service Manager, you also need, from the business side or from the actual specific process side, a process owner. So Certified Agile Process Owner is a new course. It will be very quickly in April offered by Ranger 4, and we're looking forward to that because that really takes the process design and gives it that a process is a product flavor and lets you see exactly how to go and create this and own it and make sure that other people are doing it in an agile manner. So it's just enough governance, just enough documentation, but a heck of a lot of collaboration and communication to get that done. Thank you very much for being part of this webinar.
Okay.
I'd like to leave a lot of time for questions, so back over to Priyanka to see if she's got any for me.
Yes, we do have a few questions. So our first question is, what position will I be in after I complete the CASM course?
So I'm going to take that from 2 points of views. From your position after you've completed the CASM course is, you should be able to go back and look at your ITIL or COVID way of working and saying, okay, I see how I can make this better. I can see how I can go and change the way that we work across the organization, technology, out into vendors, whatever, and working with them, create a different way that instills faith in what's happening within the IT environment or technology environment. For the second way, when you go to LinkedIn, if you put that you're a CASM person, if someone calls you up and says, so what do you know about Scrum and what do you know about Agile, you can confidently say, well, I'm actually the equivalent of a Scrum Master. I know a lot about Agile and Scrum.
Okay, great.
So what's the second question?
Yeah, our next question is, what's the difference between the DevOps Foundation course and the CASM course?
So DevOps is that movement of, good question actually, DevOps is that course, or that movement, excuse me, of collaboration and communication between Agile, Lean, IT service management people across the life cycle of, I've got an idea, I now want to make that idea go live. I need a way to create the flow, I need a way to create feedback, and I need a way to be able to do it in such a way that I'm constantly learning. How can I do that? I can adopt DevOps attitude. It takes a lot of leadership, top-down metrics, there's a culture that has to be done, and once I get good at it, I can start to apply technology at the right places to really enable that better, faster, safer across the life cycle of idea to realization. I think that's all the questions.
Oh, we have one more. How does this link to ITIL certifications we may have?
For specific linking, it's not going to help you get the ITIL expert. For ad hoc, it is going to help you better understand what's happening in your IT service management, whether it's ITIL or COVID exams, and the various specific aspects across the life cycle that they teach.
Okay. And we do have a comment. Thank you very much for this interesting webinar, someone has said.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So that is all for
Hold on. Moshe just asked, is there any prerequisites? There's material that gets sent out to you to read. There's not a prerequisite. We don't make an assumption that you know anything. This is the base course, so you can come in as you'd like. ITIL Foundation may or may not help you with this, other than the fact that for any service management question, you might be able to do better. But for the majority of the course, it really is looking at how do you apply agile methodologies and thinking to the way that you do technology. So no, there is no prerequisites. As future courses get developed, we'll have more specific prerequisites from the Agile lane or IT service management world.
Okay, great. So that's all for the questions today. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you everyone for joining us. A follow-up email will be sent with today's slides and a recording. Thanks, everyone.
Bye for now.